Hey, Chubbies. Tonight's show brought to you by the Kelly Wiley Realty of the Keller Williams Capital Partners. You ever sitting around the house, you and your spouse, and you're like, man, this house is just, it's getting too small. The walls are closing in, and man, I'm ready for a bigger place. I need a bigger house. I wonder how much I could get out of this one. Wonder what projects I need to do. You ever think, man, hey, kids is gone. I'm ready. I need a smaller place. I don't want as much to take care of, you know. Well, I'll tell you what to do whenever that thought comes in your mind and you got some unanswered questions and you want to know, like, hey, how much is this house worth? How much is that house worth that I'd like to buy? You know, what projects can I do to increase the value of my house? Well, call Kelly Wiley Realty of the Keller Williams Capital Partners. Give them a call at 577-3795. I'm going to tell it to you again. That's area code 740-577-3795. Let Kelly Wiley Realty help you on your house journey. So, Jordan Lackey, you are a jack of all trades. Let's see, you've got Lackey's Auto Body Detailing. You are one of the most premier DJs, I guess I can say, in Southern Ohio.
Well, I think that's fair to say.
I do think that's fair to say. Yeah. And let's see, now, I'll be honest with you. You know why I wanted to talk to you? I want to talk to you about two things.
What's that?
You recently just lost your father.
Yes.
And you know, I should have probably prepped you a little bit before I just do that on you. Like recently.
Yeah,
like
right
3
before
weeks
Christmas.
ago. Okay, it was right before Christmas. So I thought it was like 3 weeks ago. But you know, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that, and then, you know, obviously this new fitness journey that you've been on. Yeah. But you know, did Dad inspire that a little bit?
Yeah, Dad did inspire that a little bit. He was always into cycling, so so we always did that whenever I was a kid, and mountain biking. Mm-hmm. And I know that's something that you're into also. So, but so we used to do that back in the day, and so I started doing it again about 10 years ago. Whenever he retired, and he was doing it, and we all did it together, and. So, and then all this diabetes stuff kind of hit, and he lost his leg, and then just kind of a downward spiral the last 5 years. But, diabetes, infection, that's what took the foot. But, that just living a healthier lifestyle for myself, just seeing what diabetes can do to you. And he was about my age when he got diagnosed. So
you said you'll be 40 in July?
I'll be 40 in July, so... Yeah, just kind of.
How was he character, like build wise, compared to where you are now at 40? I didn't know your father.
He was probably a little heavier than me, but whenever I was heavier, about the same size, really.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a little shorter than me. He was probably an inch and a half shorter than me.
Okay.
But we kind of carried our weight differently, I guess. Mm-hmm. But
did his struggles with diabetes or his health battle there, you don't have to get into it, but did you find that somewhat inspiring to, watching what he had to go through, and you're thinking, all right, man, I let me try to prevent this if I can? Or
yeah, I mean, I work in healthcare too, so
yeah.
I work in healthcare. I work in a nursing home, so I see these things all the time, so. I kind of knew what the road ahead was, and you think you can kind of prepare yourself for those types of things, and then boom, then it actually happens, But
hey, working in that nursing home, this brings me to an interesting thing. Can you tell a difference in clients that would come in, or whatever? What do you call those people? Residents.
Residents, yeah.
So can you tell the difference on these residents? The ones that I'm sure you can. What a bird's eye view. That have taken care of themselves and they're just in the latter stages of life and then can you see those people that it caught them?
You can't really tell, man, honestly, because it can just be something like a broken hip and that just totally turn your life completely around.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
instant change, isn't it?
Huh?
Instant change, like a broken hip. So I tell Dad.
Well,
I mean,
you're talking about like a loss of mobility and thus freedom. You know, you kind of...
It's a mental health thing, too.
Yeah, sure.
With it, depending on the age of the person, too. Like if you got an 80-year-old that breaks their hip, their recovery process is going to be a lot different than somebody that's 60, so...
It's probably so all over the board there.
It's crazy.
But I'm talking about like the ones that smoke, the heavy ones. Like, can you tell the difference between them and, like, let's just say some guy just got old or some woman just got old, but they were joggers. They were, have you ever seen that happen?
It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, we've all different levels of people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It's sad too. You know, because somebody can be perfectly fine physically, and then they might have dementia or Alzheimer's, and then they they can't
Brutal.
remember to do the little daily tasks every day that we take for granted. And when you see those things every day, and that kind of changes the way you look at the world as a man, because you're like, man, I got to get my shit together here,
Yeah,
because,
right.
Clock's ticking.
Yeah, I mean, you see somebody that's not even 80 years old, and they're and they have dementia, that could be me, So I mean,
That could be any of us.
I mean,
man.
just playing football, I mean, having head trauma and concussions that we had when we were younger, and all that stuff adds up. It really does, And
them boxers are the ones that freak me out, man. You take those guys that's been hitting the head a lot, and I mean, by a certain age, they just start losing. I don't know if you've heard Chuck Liddell speak lately, but like, man, last time I heard him, that or he was drunk.
yeah,
Well, I mean, it dawned on me like during like the Jake Paul Tyson fight, they had Evander Holyfield there.
Oh yeah,
Holy smoke! Dude.
yeah.
I mean,
he's went back. Ain't he?
oh man! I mean,
it's
and that's scary to see that kind of stuff.
Oh.
I mean,
it is, man.
Makes you think like, ooh.
well, I mean, you
Yeah.
think about when he was at the prime of his career, man. That dude was Muhammad Ali, name him. I mean, but then you see that and you're like,
Ooh. Then think of
if I was a young boxer, man, I think I'd be like,
think of these pro athletes too, like these pro football players,
Yep.
these linemen,
Yep.
that just are in wheelchairs. You see them at these,
can't
reunions,
walk. Yeah.
and you'll see like ones of the linemen,
Yeah.
and they'll all be in a nursing home or be in wheelchairs or
yep,
just barely
canes
walking.
and their hands are just gnarled. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, guys like Junior Seau that
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. And I mean, I can't imagine like the arthritis pain and stuff like that, like let alone brain injury.
Now,
and stuff
why
like
do you
that.
think that is? Just because of the impact, or
Broken joints and just
because I mean, obviously they're staying in shape.
oh yeah. I mean, it's just your fingers, man. My fingers are screwed up, and I just played a little bit of college football,
Yeah.
nothing. But I mean, you just. Depending
Bang
on what
up.
position you
Wear
play,
and
you're gonna break a finger.
bang 'em
you're
out.
gonna
Yeah.
do that.
I
You're gonna-
tore an Achilles tendon at
Yeah.
27.
Yeah.
Never thought that was going to happen at 27. You know what I'm saying?
And that's
Playing
a brutal one,
basketball.
isn't it?
Oh man, yeah.
Basketball was the first thing I had to give up. Like I knew at a certain point the ankles and the feet just were not going to take the basketball.
Yeah. I was probably about 215, and we were I was practicing with our girls, just running some drills with them and stuff, and just boom, popped out. I thought I stepped in a hole, and man, my calf rolled up on the back of my leg and everything, and I had to get it surgically repaired, and it was like 8 months of therapy and
Yeah, it's brutal, dude.
and recovery and with a boot and with a heel lift in there, and oh man, I didn't think I was ever going to be able to run right again. Like throughout the whole time, I was kind of like depressed because I was like, man, am I ever going to be able to play basketball again?
Yeah.
And then as time went on, and I got stronger, but it's still not the same as it was. I don't have the strength in that as what I had prior.
I mean,
but
I think it's weird. You hear, I mean, I'll be 52 years old this August. Okay. And you hear people, they always say all this stuff like, man, you wait, you get old, man. The aches and pains and all that stuff. Well, I feel it. I know what they're talking about. And what's weird for me is like the weather we've had the last few weeks here. Oh my God. I mean, it's brutal.
Can you feel
that
it?
cold? Oh my God. I've never felt so old in my life.
But
dude.
you're also spending about every week somewhere warm.
Well,
yeah,
yeah, I do a lot of traveling. Thank God my territory is the South.
Yeah.
So I've been able to spend during the week in about 70-degree weather.
I bet you when you come home,
that can
you are
really mess with you though.
Oh,
Well,
I'll tell you what, guys, it is not a myth, because I'm telling you, when you go, I go to Florida, same body, go to Florida, and it's 60 or in the 50s instead of -6, I feel like a different human being.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
do.
just different, man. That cold, brutal thing. And if you've got,
and a little sunshine don't help.
oh, it's great.
Don't hurt,
dude.
does
Yeah,
it?
no, man, it's great. And I just think there's really something to that, man. And
for sure
it
man.
could be that, I wrecked my body at a young age. I I don't think. I mean, I didn't really play that many sports, dude. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
we want to, as humans, we want to be outside in nature. We
Yeah,
want to be
yeah.
out there breathing in the fresh air and having some sunshine. And
Think of your old school workers though, like back in the day, those guys on the railroads swinging them big old mattocks and stuff all day, them sledgehammers, driving those rail spikes.
it's a different breed.
and then
person,
imagine
man.
doing it. All right, it'd be awful doing that in 100-degree weather, right? The humidity and all that. I mean, that would wreck you.
Yeah.
But then also think about doing that when it's -6. I mean, God,
I don't wanna imagine
that might be worse.
It might be.
I think it might be actually.
So we go back here to before Christmas. So how Chad and I are lucky enough that we have not experienced that, and and whenever you lost your dad, I mean, what happens here? I mean, do you have to like mentally take a step up at this point? I mean, are you like that's the way I'm seeing. Whenever you think about it, it's like okay, whenever that happens, it's almost like a changing of the guard type thing.
Well, we all know that date is out there.
We know that, yes,
and it's fair to say that we dread that.
absolutely.
And I mean, you were saying your father was in poor health. You saw it coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But man, you can't prepare yourself.
No, you don't know when.
Yeah.
I knew that it was coming. You just don't know when. It could be 5 years, it could be 5 months, it could be 5 days. You just don't know.
Yeah.
Was his health really poor at the end?
He had an issue. It was called pleural infusion of the lung, and what that is what they explained to us is that he had in like the pockets around his lungs, he would get fluid in those, and that would be putting pressure on his lungs when he's trying to breathe. So that would make it hard for him to breathe, and that was just a revolving door, him having to go back to the hospital to get drained and all that kind of stuff. So that was just wearing him out, I mean, it was just
taking his toll.
He had a really strong heart. So, I mean, that's what kept him alive as long as he did, because his heart was so strong. His lungs were pretty strong too, but he had the pneumonia and the pleural infusion. And then, the kidneys were failing because of the diabetes. So, yeah, a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
And you see those hospital situations, those doctors will tell you, there's a lot.
Yeah.
And it just compounds, man.
Yeah.
And, the last few days that he was able to talk to me and stuff, like I cleaned a vehicle one evening, and I came back inside, and my mom was like, hey, he's been asking about you a lot today. You better get back here and hang out with him. And I was going back in and saying, talking to him and stuff throughout the day. He was watching football on TV. And so I went back there, got done with the truck, talked to him, and we was talking about the Bengals game the next day, looking forward to watching the Bengals. And he was asking me about, he always asks, how much you get on that truck? How much did you ask, and how much did they give you? What he'd always ask me, because a lot of times people will give you a little tip or whatever. So, I told him and everything. He's like, well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good for that one. I was like, yeah. So I was like, well, I'll see you tomorrow, Dad. We're going to watch the Bengals tomorrow. So, well, he had a turn throughout the night there where he just completely went unresponsive. And that was the last conversation we actually had. So you just never know when that time's going to come. I wasn't thinking that was going to be the last one, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because what's crazy is I remember being at the hospital probably a year prior to that, and it wasn't good. I was like, man, I came in the hospital and they had him on a BiPAP, and I've never seen him on anything like that, and he was just a mess. And I walked in there and I just gave him a big hug, and we both started crying, and I gave him a hug. And I didn't know if he's going to make it through the day, man. You know what I mean?
So,
I
you guys had been to the brink of this before.
Yeah.
I mean,
But he pulled through that time. But, man, that day, I was like, shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
We really had a moment there.
That's a page turn in the book.
I'm glad that we had that moment that
Sure.
day.
Yeah.
Because he knew, he saw how much that affected me, seeing him like I saw him.
Yeah.
And, I think that's why he got emotional too. So, man, and the other thing I can say is, like, dude, I don't have any regrets. Me and my dad had the best fucking relationship, man.
I think all three of us can say
awesome.
that. Yeah.
Dude, I have we had a great relationship. He was my coach. He was my best friend, my hero.
Well, you guys did it right then too.
He led me the right way, no matter what, man. And I, just like you always used to say, man, hey, if you need me, call me. I'll come get you.
And they would.
Yep.
And so it's nice to have that, you know, and somebody that's encouraging you daily, you know, and that's something.
So
that
what was the transition like, man? Or I'm sure it's still going on.
I've just continued to try to make him proud with my daily actions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've stepped my game up all the way across the board, you know, at work. I stepped my game up, cleaning cars. I've stepped my game up with my fitness. I've stepped my game up. I'm trying to encourage other people to really, take a step back and really like, hey man, you got time to go out there and take a walk. You got time to go out there and put some effort in for yourself.
Sure.
Daily, you know, or as often as you can, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes you just need a little mental break, man. It's nice to go out and take a walk, you know?
Yeah.
Me and Sabrina, my fiance, I mean, we cycle a lot in the summer. It's something really good.
We still got to go mountain bike.
We still haven't went yet. We need to. But she loves it. She gets out and rides 10 miles, you know, every day in the summertime, you know, and which is impressive. She does her yoga. I mean, we really try to stay busy, and I'm gonna push that on the kids and
I think that's great.
And on the whole community, man.
Yeah,
That's what I'm looking to do.
We'll talk about that here in a minute. But so what? Because that's a big thing that you're doing. I've been watching it. I'd seen it. But how old was your father whenever he passed?
68.
68. So fairly young.
Yeah, Dad was a school teacher for 35 years, and then he was principal for 7 years, assistant principal at the high school. You know, he coached for years too, and coached me going all the way up to junior high, and then I had other coaches from that point on, but he coached me all the way up to there, basketball, football. Coach Darrow and him coached baseball, me and Brant in baseball all the way up through. So yeah, I had great coaches and
did he coach for the schools as well?
He coached before he coached before I was born.
Okay,
so he was like
he had
before I
gotten
came
into
along.
administration and stuff by the time you were. You know.
No, he was a teacher. He just taught 8th grade math for like 30 years.
Okay, there you go.
And I had him as a math teacher.
Yeah. Chad had a very similar upbringing. Yeah, very similar.
Yeah, my dad was always involved with the schools.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was when he was the principal, he was at every game. I mean, he was the biggest supporter. I mean, he was there for the kids, and
they all liked him.
And there's a lot of kids that made it through that. You know, he really helped them, get through. You know, he would go the extra mile. He would do extra things, make things available for them to do to make it through.
Well, that's probably where you get it. You're a lot like that, Jordan. I mean, you have always been the good time guy. Like, and I don't mean that as you're going to drink 50 beers. I mean that like you're there to make sure everybody's feeling good.
Absolutely.
Like you've always been that way.
Well, here he is. I have never heard anybody say a bad word about Jordan Lackey.
That's good.
I mean, I think everybody's like, "Oh man, that guy's a great hang man."
Yeah.
I mean, and I mean that's a real positive thing, man.
That is.
And like if we can all say that, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, if everybody, I always look at man. If everybody says about me, like, "Hey, dude, you know what? That guy's a good guy.
Yeah,
I like to hang out with him. He never, makes me feel like an asshole or whatever, And I just, I think that's a big deal, dude.
Yeah,
I agree.
I've never been one to have the asshole approach ever in my life. I've always kind of like not had time for that bullshit.
Yeah,
that's just not me.
Is that something? Is that just something you think it was ingrained in you, man?
From my dad.
Was your dad like that? Yeah,
that's what you saw, right?
My dad always saw the good in everybody, and that's what I'm hoping for too. And I always give everybody a chance. You just don't know what somebody's going through that day. You know what I'm saying?
And so he kind of provided that example. Absolutely. And he was in the right field to do it too. I mean,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. And if was your dad a teacher?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like when your dad's a teacher or coach or affiliated with the schools for a long period of time, like they know everybody in the community. Everybody knows them,
Yeah.
So everywhere you go, it's like your dad's a celebrity almost. Not really, but
small town.
Everybody knows who your dad is.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
So like you see that as a kid, and you're like, man, that's pretty cool. Like, he knows a lot of people and stuff, and everybody seems to like this guy, and he's my dad.
Yeah.
So I mean, just seeing that and just how he carried himself over, just throughout all those conversations, I'm sitting there like, Dad, would you hurry up? Yeah. But I'm so glad I was there for a lot of those because you take in stuff, man. Like you really do. Just I don't even realize it.
Just
Sometimes
living.
I'll just hear myself talk. Sometimes I'm like, God, it sounds just like Mike Lackey, you know, for real.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, my mom tells me all the time that, and so, but, and you know, like a lot of people, and my grandpa, George Lackey, my dad's dad, he died when my dad was like 9. So my dad didn't really have a father growing up most of his life, you know, until his dad had multiple myeloma. And, so, you know, a lot of people that I have in a nursing home knew who my grandpa was.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you're just like your grandpa, George. He was our principal, you know, because he was a principal.
Okay.
And then, so you got that generational.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
My aunt was a teacher.
Yeah.
You know, my cousin Lori's a teacher in MacArthur. You know, we got teachers all in our.
Yeah, that's the way they are with you too.
But my dad was always like, no, you don't want to go into education. You do not want to go into education. Go do something else, you know.
Yeah.
But and you know, I always wanted to be a coach, and I still plan on doing that at some point. You know, coaching girls or boys basketball, but yeah, which I've been involved in the past. You know, in football and basketball. But
yeah, you've coached. That's what I was saying. I thought you had coached a fair amount, haven't you?
Yeah. I coached with Scott for years, and I coached with Coach Darrow for 2 years, and I coached football for 2 seasons.
Okay.
So
and now you've got a daughter.
And now I've got a daughter.
Yep.
Sophia Marie, and I got a.
She's probably what, 8, 7?
No, 4.
4.
She's 4. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how many kids do you have? One?
I have one kid. Sabrina's got a son. He's 18. Got my stepson Logan.
Yeah.
And we have one of Sabrina's brother's daughters we have through foster care now.
Oh, okay.
She's 4 also. So we have 2 4-year-olds.
Oh,
hey, you got a busy household going on.
Yes. So we got 2 4-year-olds, an 18-year-old, and 3 cats and 2 dogs.
Okay, you're busy, Jordan.
Yeah.
You're busy.
Yeah.
You know, so I had, you know, our buddy Eddie Hughes, you know, that we've talked about here the last couple of shows, but, you know, he came out of a near death, right? You know? Man. And I honestly believe if Eddie hadn't have been in the physical shape that he, you know, had been in all of his life, I doubt he would have made it through that.
That's a real interesting point, man.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about that one day.
And his will.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you got to have a will to live, but you know, at the same time, I mean, you know, a 40-year-old or 45, he's 46 or whatever, 45. But I mean, at the end of the day, that 40-some-year-old is going to have a different outlook in that situation, comparatively speaking, to a 65 and above.
For sure.
Okay.
Yes.
There's some 65-year-olds, I'm sure they get to a point and they're like, hey, you know what? Adios. You know, I've seen enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
and they just let gravity take its course.
The thing I look at, though, like with a guy like Eddie, right? I mean,
who's fine now.
Strength training his whole life, right?
All his life.
And I mean, that was a high impact collision, dude.
Yes.
And I just can't help but think, if he hadn't done all that training
and had all that
years,
protection.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how much he's done lately. I haven't seen Eddie in a while, but like, I'm certain that he was doing something.
Yeah. It was still there to an extent.
Yes. I mean, you know, and I got to feel like that makes a difference in that scenario.
I think it saved his life.
Yeah.
That and, you know, some other key things like airbags and
sure. I mean,
belts and stuff like that. But, you know, I also think that if that person did not have all that protection, I don't think that they would have fared as well.
If that was a 60-year-old woman
boy.
in that car,
It depends on the woman. But yeah.
most likely they ain't going to handle that as good.
That happens to like my mother or somebody that's, you know, frail or
hey, buddy, that happens to Chad Reynolds.
Yeah.
You guys are at my funeral, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not in that kind of shape.
So that brought me to my next thing. Like, you know, you talked about these people that are a broken hip away. I mean, and they are. Like, you know, my dad just went through this at OSU, and like I told him, I told Dad, I was like, listen, yes, you're fine right now. Mm-hmm. But I was like, what I'm trying to get you to do is play defense. And I was like, you know, because I've got him, or the doctor had to tell him. It's one of them, you know how like when we were young, if your dad told you something, you wouldn't listen, but when somebody else tells you something, okay. Well, those roles have now been reversed.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Boy, is that true.
Yeah.
I mean,
now it's interesting, brother. Yeah, it is. I'm telling you.
So I'm trying to tell my dad this stuff, you know, you know, and he just looks at me like I'm just the fattest, you know, guy on the planet.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know, hey, dude, you're fine right now. I get it. You go great. Yeah, I'm not trying to touch your pride. I'm just trying to tell you, let's be playing some defense because something's going to happen. It's life. Okay, something's going to happen to you. It's your rebound that I am worried about,
Absolutely.
So, it's like, hey, less time on the couch, more time staying active.
Yeah. Keep your foot on the gas.
Yes, keep your foot on, less chips, more veggies.
Yeah.
And like
Little
stuff,
decisions
little
like that
decisions
make a big difference.
that you are going to extend your quality of life possibly another 5, 10, 15 years if you.
Well, I mean,
right.
what is tough for guys like our dad's age and doing this is, I mean, they like, to them, they still have that feeling like they might be bulletproof.
They do.
They don't realize that they're getting to the age where, dude, something might jump up.
77.
Yeah, something's going to jump up and grab you.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I mean,
So one of these days they're gonna look at you and they're gonna tell you possibly this might happen to both of you guys. I don't know, but they might say, "But I don't know if I can do it or not."
Yeah.
And that breaks your heart because you're not used to that man giving up or even thinking about giving up.
Right.
Yeah.
But sometimes those situations are so overwhelming for those for them, and it does break your heart because you're like, damn it, come on. Hey, I'll do whatever I got to do to help you.
I had that moment.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's
And I told him, I said,
you got to
showed
know
me.
how to respond to that correctly.
Well, I tried to light a fuse under his ass.
Yes.
Is what I did. I said, hey, listen, I said, you've told me all my life what a badass you was and everything else. I said, by God, now's the time.
You've got to keep your foot on the gas.
And I told him, because it was aggravating.
Because nobody else is going to do it.
That he
Nobody else is going to say it to him. You know what I'm saying? Really, the doctors aren't really going to tell them that. Somebody's got to keep that encouragement there because it's so easy for them to fall into that situation of just like, God damn, I got to do what?
Well, hell, they're 80.
I got to do what to get out of here?
And
I got to do what to get out of this hospital?
Yeah.
I got to do this test. I got to do that test.
Yeah, you're gonna run
You got to
the-
drain how much fluid?
Yeah.
I see that in my parents. They've both gone through some things where they've been in, the hospital trying to get out doing that. And man, that's tough. And they start thinking, gee whiz, when is this going to get right? And it's a tough spot. I mean, going back and forth for continuous medical stuff
over and over.
I mean, and a lot of people that age, it becomes their life, man.
They have to work their planner
between doctor's appointments and stuff.
piss on that.
And think about your mother too.
Yeah.
And what the job that they got to do.
Oh, yeah.
And so I seen that side of it too with my mom. She having to take care of my dad. After losing that leg, it was hard for him to transfer. Even he could do all that stuff, but just doing getting his pants on was hard for him, and just little things like that. That you don't think about. And but just how she just managed that, man, was phenomenal.
Women are resilient.
Oh my God, dude.
I think my mom does some stuff. She lives out there, and
We won't ever
lost
know
her
all
husband.
the things they do.
Yeah, and it's sometimes I just don't even know how you function out here. Like, how do you get through a day? Because there's certain things. I mean, that you do during the day, and then you're like, how did you even do that? And she's always shown me that how just women you're just
Power.
They'll
through
make
it.
you scratch your head.
Yeah. It's amazing. But
so you've
all that
taken
stuff
all
comes into play.
Yeah, you've taken all this, and this has kind of woke you up. I've seen this. Obviously, we've been buddies for too long to count, but 20 years probably. And I've seen you here in the last, let's say, 3 years probably. You started off and you were, we follow each other on social media. We follow each other on Strava.
Yep.
I was seeing you. You were staying at it. We like each other's stuff. And then now you've taken that to this next level of, and you don't have a gym. You don't have anything. So tell me about what it is that you're trying to do. You've got this new thing. Tell me about it.
I started, posting some of my runs and stuff like that. And people see me out running and stuff, and I get messages from people and, people wanting to know just somebody to lead them in the right direction, I guess. And for all different types of things, like exercise, dieting. And I mean, I'm not a specialist in any of those things.
Yeah.
But I thought if we could get a community together, that has some people that have good knowledge about certain areas, we can all feed off each other and grow together, and it might be something pretty special at the end of the day, But my main thing is I just want to try to encourage and inspire people that, you're not too old to get up and get moving, man,
Yeah.
And you got to stay at it,
What's your weekly routine, man?
I really don't have a week. I got like I got the kids. It's crazy, and
Yeah, you're
and
Yeah.
I
you're
try to run
detailing cars.
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah.
DJing parties.
yeah. So Tuesday, usually I start off Monday and run
Okay.
after work, and Tuesday I usually run. Usually I'll take a day or two off there. Usually. But I know I'm not going to run on Friday because I'm DJing on Friday.
Yeah.
So
I
try to get 3 days in during the week.
Which is its own form of exercise.
It is.
DJing is you're going in, you're
Well,
setting
you're
up.
active.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
you're
a
on your
mental
feet.
exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's fun reading a room and
Yeah, you
trying
gotta
to
read
get
them.
everybody vibing on at the same, trying to find that common ground,
Jordan was
interesting.
part of the. I got to give Jordan some credit on this.
How much fun was that?
Hey,
I
that's
know what you're going to bring up. Yeah.
the stockroom idol.
Yeah.
Hey, to my knowledge now, and I'll say
That
this.
was big time in this area at that time.
I mean, they was parked at Kroger's, brother.
We brought the show to town, buddy. I'm telling you, that was fun, man.
That was whenever they talk about how many people.
And
that,
how many good singers. I mean, it was all
oh
good.
my goodness! When they talk about how many people that place would hold or whatever, I'd be like, listen, I don't care
We
what
maxed
you
it
did
out.
back in the '60s or '70s.
Yeah.
they was sitting on top of people on the dance floor.
Yes,
on
yes.
top. There was like people on top of people.
On the ground, yeah.
On the ground.
Yeah.
It was at capacity.
It
By
definitely
far,
was,
yeah. And we took that riser down, and we at the end, remember that, and we had them at that walkway, and had that was just laid up, so just like a layup, wasn't it? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
for them,
Yes. Yeah. it
we
was
had
nice.
that. We pulled that off so smooth. Can Jordan DJ'd and MC'd the whole thing?
Oh my.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, we got the screen up there eventually, I think, and everything.
Yeah, they had a screen that the crowd couldn't see,
Yeah.
but
No, they didn't. They didn't have a screen.
yeah, they did.
Did they? I
Not
thought-
in the finals.
They had.
They had to learn the words, but we had a.
Yeah.
Remember what happened during the finals, Jordan? What was that? There was something happened. Everybody thought that one girl was going to win.
God, I can't remember.
I
can't remember who
that
won.
she forgot her words.
Oh, I don't know.
She got down right at the end and she forgot her words. Brittany Logan won it. Not Brittany
Yeah,
Logan.
Kylie won it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, I can't remember. There were some good ones though.
Yeah, we had judges. It was.
Oh, yeah, and that went on for a period of weeks.
It did. Oh yeah,
You
6
know,
weeks.
yeah.
It was like 6 or 8 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that DJ and you do all that and then you also detail these cars. So how are you finding time to get these runs in? But like you said, it's a half hour.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a half hour. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody's got a half hour.
I should be running 5 days a week. That's not three's really not enough. But I do like to let myself recover though, because you can tell after you take a day off how much better, how much stronger you feel. I think.
You start running 5 days a week, you'll get injured.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to run that much. I mean, it's I guess I'm trying to get to like 15 miles a week probably. If I just want to set a goal, I mean, that's kind of what I'd like to hit. But I think I'm at like 12 or something right now. This week.
Maybe throwing an extra
That's
mile
okay.
one day.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, yeah. Hey, look, man, that's 12 miles that I didn't run this week.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I ran like, I don't know, like 800 miles last year or something like that, maybe, or something like that. So I'd like to break that.
Yeah. You keep track of that on Strava.
Yeah, it tells you at the end of the year how many miles you ran at the end.
Do you know what Strava is?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's that app that has the routes your courses.
All that stuff. Well, it's
and you
like
share it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
it's like
but
Facebook
for exercise.
For
Yeah,
running.
only it's all that. So like it's cool to see like your buddies on there.
It
Now,
motivates you, don't it, a
now
little bit?
I'll be honest with you, unless I'm using it, I'm not on it.
No,
Like,
me either.
I don't like pull up Strava and say who did what today.
No,
I don't do
no.
that. But like if
No,
I'm
but-
on it, I'll say like, oh, I saw so and so.
Whenever I'm getting ready to go for a run, I'll check it. That's when I'll get on there and I'll see what
Who's
Rob
pacing.
did. Like Rob Irvin's a big motivator for me. I like seeing Rob get out there. Man, it's so impressive seeing him. He's 50 plus probably, and he's out there running
Crazy times.
crazy miles, man. Like below 7 minute miles. Long runs. I mean, he's pretty good runner, man. Yeah. But yeah, the whole bunch of people out there that
Is he the
that's-
fastest?
I don't know. Him and Jason Hoseout were pretty fast.
Yeah. I haven't really tracked to see.
Those are the two probably fastest I've seen.
Which one of them ran the Boston Marathon? Holzaffel?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to be sub 8, I think, to run that.
Yeah, you have to qualify for that. So
Yeah.
you have to get a certain time at there's certain marathons that you can qualify for the Boston Marathon, and actually I think the Columbus Marathon half marathon,
it's a qualifier.
The whole marathon's a qualifier. I think I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Did you like that half marathon?
Unbelievable experience, man.
Tell me about it, because it's a kind of a bucket list thing for me, and I'm afraid it's going to outrun me.
I want to do it again, man. It was so fun, man. I got a hotel room, so we went up the day before, and got a hotel room at the Hyatt. So it was right there. It was nice. So we went out to eat that night, met my brother up there. We went to the convention and, got to see all that stuff, and that was pretty cool. And went to bed, man, still not knowing if I could run 13.1. And because I hadn't never ran the full half up to that point. I mean, I ran 9-10 miles, but I never ran the full. I never tried it.
Why didn't you do it?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
And you thought, I'm just going to enter this cold and see if I can get it done.
And I haven't done it since, honestly. I haven't ran a full 13.1 since.
Okay, so you trained for this by doing
But
half.
I did train for it, for about 8 months.
What'd you do, couch to half or something? I mean, are you doing something like that? Are you doing like a stepping thing?
No, I'm just running just based off how I feel. And I knew that I had to be pretty comfortable to be able to run 8 miles. I was like, I got to get to 8 miles and still feel pretty good at the end of that. And I was like, if I can get to that, I was like, I can pull off 5 more miles, because usually whenever I start going, man, like once I get to a mile, I start feeling really good. I start feeling like, damn, I could probably keep going, you know? And it just,
so you just kind of had a
any limiter for me, like on my runs, honestly.
So you kind of had it figured, if I can get real comfortable at 8, then I'll be able to push it. To 13.
Yep. So explain comfortable. Yeah. Is that heart rate? Is that
body? How my knees are feeling? Cardio. How my muscles are feeling?
Time wise, where are we at here on the 8 mile comfortable?
Right now.
Well, just whenever you were doing.
Whenever I was doing that, I don't know. I was running for the half marathon. I ran what was it? I think 9:45 splits, or something like that. I think. So
you run a 10-minute mile at 8.
Yeah,
cruising.
Yeah, and my goal that morning was to just run a 10-minute, 30-second mile. All right, that was it. I was like, I'm gonna just stay right there. I'm comfortable there. I could run a whole marathon at.
So you didn't go in trying to see how fast you could do it.
Hell no.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure I was going to finish that son of a bitch. Yeah. I did not want to stop. I didn't stop at all.
So you weren't going in the early part of it saying, "Hey, I'm gonna bust out of here and see."
Okay. No. See, it was crazy because I got down there that morning, and things starts at like 7 a.m. I think. Uh-huh. So I got down there in plenty of time, and I left something at the bag check-in, so I had to run all the way back to the bag check-in and then run all the way back. By that time, the race started, and I was supposed to be in the B class, and I didn't end up going with the B class, which I shouldn't have been in the B class. I should have been probably in the C class or the D class, which that's where I ended up running.
Oh, okay.
So, so I took off back there with those guys, and like, I just wanted to set my pace at 10:30, and I did, and these people, I was just blown by people. And I was like, I felt pretty good. So I just kept picking up just
does that mess with your mind a little bit, thinking like, man, am I going too hard? Why am I blowing past these guys?
I knew that if I stayed at 10:30, I'd be all right. Okay. I knew that.
Now, are some of those starting the marathon too?
Yeah, everybody's starting at the same time.
Okay, so a lot of them though, they might
other than the professionals, they start first. They get like a 10 minutes head start on everybody.
So some of those people though might have just been pacing themselves for the full day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're going past. It's crazy. That's another motivator, man. Is seeing some of the people that's out there running that thing. That's like that's struggling. They aren't running right. They got health issues and shit, but they're out there pushing their body out there. I remember seeing this guy. He had a big scar up the back of his head, and like he probably had some kind of brain surgery or something. You know what I'm saying? And he was just out. I mean, he was struggling, but he was running, and he was. So you see that, and the other thing too, man, whenever you're in a race like that and there's so many people, I think there was like 900 and some people or 1,000 people or something like that. So like just the rhythm of you hearing those feet tapping, like there's something to that.
Yeah,
there's something to the rhythm of that, and And then, you know, they got music blasting all over
I heard
the place.
there's like a band at every corner or
They
something.
got Pitbull playing, you know, Firecracker, and, you know, so you get these, you know, and they got
Hell,
Gatorade
they make it,
for
it's
you.
like it's a festival up there.
It's unbelievable, man. There's so many.
Yeah.
There's fans out there yelling at you because I had my name on in front of mine, Jay Lackey, and they said, "Come on, Lackey, you got this." I mean, just hearing somebody just do that. I didn't know that person, but
That's probably kind of cool, isn't it?
I'm like,
I mean,
man,
yeah,
this is. I'm like, yeah, I gotta go. You know,
How is they say that
it's
course
so fun,
is fairly
man.
flat
It's
too?
flat, dude. It's a good course. It's really easy. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's easy, but it's fun. You get to see a lot of stuff. It's not difficult. I mean, it's more mental than anything.
How did your strategy pan out? I mean,
well,
so you get to mile 8.
Yeah.
And are you feeling pretty good that
felt
day?
Great, man. Yeah, I felt great. I was like, shit, I could probably go a little faster, but I didn't. I just kept it right there around 10. You know, I was like, I feel pretty good at 10.
You monitoring that by your time or your heart rate?
I'm monitoring it by my watch on my arm. And so I'm getting closer to 13, I'm like, I don't know, probably a mile out. And I was like, I'm going to fucking sprint this last mile. I'm going to get this. I'm going to cut this down to, you know, 9:30.
Whatever I was.
I want 9:30 splits instead of a 10-minute
So
split.
you were feeling good.
Yeah, I was feeling really
at
good.
Like 12 miles, you're feeling great.
At 12 miles, I was like, I'm going to put the hammer down here. I had a corner to go around, and then the finish line should have been right there.
Yeah.
Well, my watch wasn't correct. I still had about 2 miles to go. It was or like a mile and a half. I didn't. Okay. So I'm thinking I got a mile in me. I could sprint this last mile pretty much. I get around the corner to where I thought the finish line was going to be at.
Wasn't there.
It was still another, you know, fucking
6 blocks.
Yeah, like
could you see it?
Yeah, I could see it.
Okay,
but I'm like, oh shit, I don't know if I can make it, dude. Mike, I made it to where it said 13.1, and I had to keep going, and I think it ended up being like 13.8 or something like that. But dude, by the time I got to the, you know, within 50 feet of the finish line, dude, my legs started locking up on me and shit. And I mean, I was making it. I was good, but I felt them. Like it was shutting down, dude. Like my shit was shutting down on me.
So you were getting to the top end of your limit
was at
right there.
max, max fuel used. Body wise,
Yeah.
like I had no more fuel left. It was gone, dude. Like
so
I'm
what did
so
it feel
happy,
like when you crossed the line?
bro. I mean, I felt like I did something pretty special.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I'd say so.
I really did, and I was happy that I ate that pasta the night before.
What do I hear? Oh, it's that thing on that chair right there.
I don't know.
Hear it like dripping. That's what it was. It was on that chair. I was like, what in the world do I hear? I thought I had a leak in the building.
Oh, no, gosh, I hope not.
Yeah, I heard it. It sounded like water.
Might be the
Sorry.
fireplace,
You had
too.
pasta and everything else after the race.
Oh,
Sorry
yeah.
about
No,
that.
before the race.
Before the
the
race.
night before.
And you used every bit of it.
every bit of it, dude. Yeah, I mean, I remember.
So were you exhausted when you finished?
that was the most exhausted I've ever been in my life.
But does like the dopamine kick in and the adrenaline? Or,
It does, man. The competitive spirit
because
of me.
you're excited, right?
It carried me through, bro. It
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
It did. It really did. I was like, because I wasn't going to stop no matter what.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to stop.
Yeah.
You got
'Cause
your earbuds in.
No,
you
no
just-
earbuds. Usually I do. Yeah, I normally always wear headphones on my runs, but I didn't for that because I wanted to experience the fans yelling and the music, and I wanted to hear the other people. You know, if somebody wanted to talk to me, I wanted to say something to them. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to get the full experience, and you do. You talk to people, and you stay with some people, and you're like, oh, I like the way this person's running. You'll stay. They got a good pace, and you know you get that throughout the whole run, and then you might leave them behind and move on to the next person. You know what I mean?
The thing that always gets me, man, is like, you know, we've talked to several guys that have competed in these long runs, and I can't imagine what it's like then to, all right, you're done. Afterward, I don't know, and you guys probably didn't stay up there that night, right? Or did you stay that night?
I think we did.
That might have been a good idea, because what I can't imagine is you just run that.
Yeah.
Then you got to sit in a car. And even if it's just for an hour and a
pretty
half,
sure
2
we
hours,
stayed.
I mean, dude, that would be, to me, that seems brutal.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we stayed, man. I was hurting, dude. I walking back, I probably had a half-mile walk from the finish line back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And
Your legs probably did not want to do
dude,
that.
like just stepping up on a curb, like I had to like lift my leg up to step up on the curb.
So you were
like,
were gassed,
dude.
I mean,
I played football games both ways.
Yeah,
I've played basketball,
Yeah.
college basketball. I've never been so freaking tired than I was after that half marathon, dude. Just the extreme repetition of what you're putting your muscles through, man, on those things, you know. And I definitely could have been in better shape, I think, you know.
If you had to do it over again, would you have pushed it harder?
No, I wouldn't have made it.
No, I'm saying training.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. But I know what it takes now. You know what I mean? Like not doing it, at least I know what it takes.
How would you change your
And
training, your training regimen if you were going to do it again?
Well, here's why I didn't do as good as I thought I was going to do either, is because I had an ankle injury. Because here's the other cool thing that we haven't brought up that we need to talk about also. I was at a NASCAR race in Charlotte, and the week before I was at the race, I rolled my ankle, and pretty bad, and it was pretty sore. So I couldn't run for a week. And then I went to Charlotte to the race. Right, last day we was down there, rolled my ankle, rolled down a hill, rolled my freaking ankle. So I'm like, man, I don't know if I can do this, because the next weekend was the race. So I'm driving back from Charlotte. My ankle's killing me, dude. Like, I'm like, God, I did all this, and, you know, here's what's going to be like, you know. And I was like, I got to do it, though, you know. So I went and got me a copper fit and got me an ankle brace, and went out on the Wednesday. Went on a run, did pretty good, ran like 4 miles, and I felt pretty good. And I was like, okay, I think I could probably do this. Didn't run the rest of the week. Race was on like Saturday or Sunday, I can't remember. Went up there, decided not to wear the brace, and just wore the copper fit. And it was the best decision I ever made, because I don't think I would have been able to finish it if I would have wore that brace, because it would just limited my mobility with my ankle. And when you do that, you overwork your muscles.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
you're affecting everything.
Yeah. So I'm glad I didn't do that. And I think the rest might have done me some good, but just not running for that 2 weeks right before really hurt me.
Yeah.
I think with my endurance, I think. So, so that would be what I would try to change.
Yeah, not get injured.
Is not hurt my ankle, 2-3 weeks right before it. But yeah.
Think of like these pro fighters and pro athletes and how they have to try to not get injured.
They're always injured, though. Yeah. They always got to tweak something, you know. It seems like they ain't going to tell you about
also,
it.
they're getting the best care out there.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, man, I think that is a lot of times what separates those human beings from
the rest
other
of
ones
us. Yeah.
is like their desire to rehab that and get in there and grind to get that. Like, I'll tell you, I don't know if you guys have seen the documentary, like him or hate him, on Aaron Rodgers.
I haven't watched it yet. Enigma.
Hey, bud.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Is it?
Hey, it's even more amazing when you've tore your Achilles and you know what it takes too. Because like another good one to watch is Kobe Bryant's the Muse. It talks about his Achilles tear. Oh, you got to watch it, dude. Oh, he tore his right before I tore mine. And so I was like, God, what a shit situation. You know, it was awful.
Well, hell, that Aaron Rodgers, man, he came back from that injury like faster than anybody ever.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, he did.
Like, he just told the doctors, like, well, no, it's gonna, I'm gonna do it.
It's unbelievable
You've never
what he
treated
did.
me, so I'll be fine. You know, and
Yeah.
they're like, well, yeah, but you're not going to be able to play or whatever. He said, well, no, I am playing. Your job is to get me there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
And it was unbelievable. I mean,
He had to be so relentless with his therapy.
well, and he works on the total body, man.
Does he?
Then he's going, to a shaman, having an ayahuasca experience, man, doing all this. Like, he's working on his brain, his body, everything.
Yeah,
dude.
everything. And
that dude is deep.
Is he going to play football next year?
I can't wait to see.
I know.
After watching that,
I
it's
know.
like, man, because he was getting pretty close to retirement. And
Yeah.
I think it was a big deal. Like, hey, I can prove myself that I can get back from this Achilles and play.
Yes.
But I don't know if he'll keep doing it, because I don't know that he's a guy that'll be able to watch himself decline on the field.
That's a big, because the Jets released him. So,
Yeah. And I bet somebody will take a chance on him.
I mean,
And his personality,
depends on the situation for him, what he's going to accept. I'd
After
say.
watching that video, dude, I have a hard time believing that he'll be done.
Yeah.
Now, it's going to be on his terms. I mean, he's not going to be too into practicing.
Now,
Right.
I can't say that I know that I follow him a lot.
I didn't really.
Hell of a player.
Is he that good of a quarterback?
Oh my God.
He had a
elite.
horrible season this past season. It was bad.
But he is an elite.
Is he top 10 ever?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. Ever. I mean,
Or is he just top 10 right now?
in this
He's got
era,
one Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
I think one MVP or two MVPs.
Yeah.
he's a top tier quarterback at his peak. You know,
certainly
I'd
a
say
franchise quarterback.
But I mean, is he at his peak at 41?
No, he's not.
No, that was something that with him, like his mobility was a big factor for him because he was very good getting scrambling and making throws on the run and so now he's limited now.
Yeah.
He's more of a pocket passer.
I mean, what you're seeing is he goes to the Jets, which was a team that was pretty depleted. That dude needs an offensive line in front of him.
Absolutely.
Because at his age and injuries, like, dude, you got to protect
And he didn't
him.
have that.
No,
really.
he got beat up.
What I mean. He got the first play of the game, first game he played for the Jets, he tears his Achilles tendon. Yeah. That's what happened.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, I mean, it didn't start out good for him, and that's
and
a shame.
I would just love to see a follow-up with him to hear where his mind is now. Like after going through a season with the Jets,
I tell you what, I'd like to see him. I think probably where he would like to play would be San Francisco because that's where he's from, and he was a big Joe Montana fan and Steve Young fan and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I think probably his childhood dreams to be a 49er probably. Yeah. So if
I could see him and them and the Raiders. Well, no, the Raiders are in Vegas now. I was thinking,
that might be an option too because they need a quarterback probably.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know where he'll go or whether I just thought it was a real interesting. It gives you an insight into a professional athlete's like mindset. That like, I mean, I know if it would have been me, I'd have been like, shit, man. I mean, I've made enough money here. We're good.
Right. Yeah.
Fix that thing and.
Yeah, I want to be able to
go play with my grandkids.
They don't think like that. They don't think like that.
No.
It's like Conor McGregor. He still wants to get in that octagon. Now, his life just will pull him in other directions, but like he's still a champion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, and his mindset is, hey, let's fight.
Yeah.
I mean.
Even whenever they have bad times, like that's just what they do. I mean, look at the what's that guy from Miami Trace, Art Schleister?
Oh yeah.
I mean, he couldn't turn off his competitive. He just kept gambling. That was the competitiveness.
That was the outlet for his competitive nature.
That's right.
Michael Jordan, same
thing.
Yeah.
You could go on and on. You played against him. You played against LeBron.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I will say now, like him or hate him, he really that we've seen hasn't been involved in much controversy like all those guys.
No, man. He's been
class act.
Pretty good.
Yeah, seems to be. Yeah,
he's doing good things with his money and that was a crazy experience and actually really cool. An author got a hold of me and Brant and is going to write a book about that game.
Why?
So because it's like the forgotten game of his senior year because the lights went out.
Oh,
so we didn't even finish the game.
Yeah,
so we played almost 2 full quarters, and Romeo Travis was shooting a free throw, and the lights went out of the building because we had a big snowstorm. There was a big snowstorm.
Where were you guys? Where was that?
It was at his high school in Akron. Akron St. Vincent St. Mary.
Yeah.
And we never got to finish the game because of that.
What was the score whenever the lights shut out?
God, I don't know, man. It was like 40-something to 19 or something like that.
How good were they, dude?
They were pretty good, man. And
like, did the pace of the game feel different on the floor? Like, was it speed? Was it size?
I'll tell you what helped us a little bit.
LeBron is what at this age?
He's a senior.
Mm-hmm. Are you and him the same age?
I was a junior. He was a senior.
You were a junior. He was a senior. Okay.
Yeah. I started game guarding him. He came out and tried to tomahawk one. I got a picture of him doing that, and he missed it. It bounced off the back of the rim, bounced all the way back to half court. But that was in the newspaper up there, and it had a big article, and it had my name in there. And my dad got that for me. The guy at the newspaper was one of my dad's students, and he saw Jordan Lackey, Wellston High School, and he's like, "Well, hell, I know Mike Lackey from Wellston. I wonder if that's related to my old teacher." So he called my dad, and he said, "Hey, I got a picture of your boy up here playing against LeBron James." He's like, "You want that?" And he's like, "Send it." So he sent my dad the original picture in the newspaper article.
That's cool.
That had our picture in it, and it had the whole article about the game and stuff. And then my dad got that on a on a plaque for me. He put it on a plaque.
Yeah.
And so all that's on a plaque, and I got the original picture and all that kind of stuff.
What a cool
So-
experience,
Wow.
man.
So,
yeah.
And the other cool thing about that year was, we went up there and they were the number 2 team in the nation. All right.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, we came home and we had to play Oak Hill Academy, which was the school that Carmelo Anthony just played for the year before.
Yeah.
So they bring in, all D1 prospects to that school. It's one of the best high schools in the country. And they came to Wellston. We played them, and they had 5 like McDonald's All-Americans on their team. They had Ivan Harris. He played at Ohio State. They had Isaiah Swan that went to University of Virginia. They had Marcus Williams that went to UConn. Who else they have?
Why were they coming up here to play you guys?
That's just the power that Coach Darrow had, man.
I'm going to say, let's before we get off that, I have got to give a shout out to Jimmy Darrow on this.
Yeah.
The experiences he created for your teams over there, man, were unbelievable.
They
The National
played
Hoops
everywhere.
Classic.
He put on those tournaments. It was amazing, dude.
Dude, I used to go to the National Hoops Classic every year. Dad take me up there, and I'd be the ball boy all day long, all weekend. Loved it. Loved it, man. I saw some great players, man. I saw,
the best.
The best of the best.
And I think that's really cool that Jimmy Darrow said, hey, man, we're Wellston, but why can't we play these guys?
Yeah.
Let's go. We got a good program.
How would he do that? Would he take them and just set up these weekend tournaments?
Dude, I mean, he raised a lot of money.
Yeah,
and
called people.
And he made phone calls, and he knew, he went to a lot of coaches' clinics and stuff, I think.
He had to be well connected,
and he
Jordan.
had connections, man. He every year he would always go to Coach K's coach's clinic every year.
Okay.
And he developed a relationship with Duke and Coach K a little bit, I think, And I mean, he got us. We went down there my freshman or sophomore year, and we watched Duke play at home. I mean, it's hard to get tickets into Cameron Indoor Stadium, man.
Yeah.
We walked in there, and it was like we was somebody special, dude. You know what I mean? We got to meet the players after the game. We got to meet J.J. Redick, Sheldon Williams, all those guys. And, go down in the locker rooms, check everything out there, pretty much behind the curtain, thing at Duke, man. I mean, that was really cool,
Absolutely.
Got to meet Coach K.
Well, I mean, dude, he
As
did
a high school kid, wow.
He did
Dude.
so many cool things like that, man.
Yeah.
And hey, look, it's going to be tough to beat Oak Hill Academy when they come to your place.
Sure.
But my God, how fun is it to play them?
Oh, yeah. man.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
he brings Oak Hill Academy, probably one of the most well-known
Pristine.
high school, but to Wellston High School to play a game, man. That is awesome.
Was
I
that
mean,
because he would host a tournament?
Yeah.
And that's what he would do?
Eventually, whenever we got
Well,
the new school built,
that National Hoops Classic used to be, was that at the
Battelle Hall.
Expo Center? Yeah.
Battelle Hall there.
Yeah.
Hyatt.
Yes.
That's one reason why I got a hotel room at the Hyatt, because I love,
You've been there
I love
before.
the Hyatt, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this just a phenomenal, high school,
Great experience.
just growing up,
Yeah.
Wellston basketball, and it was just so much fun,
Yeah.
man. And then coach was always my baseball coach too, and Brant was always one of my best friends. You know, so I mean, I knew the head coach, and then my head coach was like good buddies with my dad.
Yeah.
So it was just cool. It was just a cool upbringing, and we went to, man, that same trip, man. We went to North Carolina. We didn't have. They didn't know we was coming there, buddy. We just showed up and started knocking on the doors. They let us in. We got to watch them practice. We got to go down to the locker rooms. They didn't know they was just really cool. And they's like, man, we're gonna let this team from Ohio come down and check this shit out,
Yeah.
And we went in and got to, man, just walking around the University of North Carolina, the Chapel Hill, you see all these teams, Michael Jordan and James Worthy and all these pictures of this shit, man. You're like, damn, this is so
it's
awesome.
an experience that most kids, most kids that grow up in Southern Ohio, man, that's not an experience that they're getting.
There's
So,
kids that went on
hats
those
off.
trips that'll never see
Yeah.
that was probably the coolest thing ever for them,
Oh, man.
and that's so awesome, I've been lucky to be able to do a lot of cool shit, but some people, when they're in high school, they don't have the luxuries.
Yeah,
that we
right,
have,
right.
So, I mean, and then on that same trip, we went to North Carolina State and watched them play St. Mary's, and that night, St. Mary's coach, I think he was coached the most games all time ever, whoever the hell that guy was.
Yeah.
But, we got to do some really cool stuff, man. We scrimmaged a team on the way back. Tracy McGrady's old high school. at their high school. We scrimmaged them on the way back through. I think Mount Zion. I think it was what we scrimmaged them on the way home.
Just had a crazy amount of connections.
You know what I mean?
Unreal.
Bus broke down on the way home. You know, there's just so many stories, man. Yeah.
That's great, man.
Yeah, dude.
What else you want to tell us about Jordan? We've been right at an hour, bud.
But whatever, I don't care.
It's we try to keep them right around an hour,
okay.
but
Hey, I'll tell you what.
I can
yeah.
keep going if you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to you guys. I don't
no,
care.
we're gonna have you back.
No, you're we'll have you back.
I tell you when you're coming back after the first time we go on a ride.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you've got to. We've been trying to do this for 2 years.
Yeah.
You're busy.
Yeah. I mean, hey,
We got to share with the Chubbies. We got to hear how about the bike ride.
Yeah.
you two go.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well,
I'm
you
down.
would know all these guys. Who else? Nathan's been wanting me to take him too. He's been playing around with the idea too.
Good.
So there's a lot of guys I've been trying to get them.
How about Carl? Was Carl ever? Carl Williams. Does he ride? Much?
I think I don't know him that well. I mean, I know who he is, but
Well, that's Megan's, or that's
Nalen's brother-in-law. Yeah,
so
yeah.
I figured they might.
I think he does.
And he's pretty
bike.
active.
Yeah, I think he does bike.
Yeah.
He's part of that Williams group. Or they all do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had Jason on the pod.
Okay.
Yeah, back in October maybe.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. It's been a few months, but yeah. So man, we got a busy summer coming up DJing.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the resident DJ at Scotty's on First.
Hey, that's
Friday
going good.
night. Yeah. That's man. I tell you what, man. It's a nice place, man.
It's a nice
You
place.
know?
Good for you. Close to home.
Yeah. I mean, it's like home.
Yeah.
It's like home for me.
Yeah. Did
know?
you ever go to it back when it was that other place, Janetta's or whatever?
No, that was before my time.
Me too. I don't remember. Did you?
No,
Before you
I was in there one time.
But it's
Yeah.
just a great atmosphere in there, man.
I hear
it's
great things about it.
Yeah.
Shout out Scotty.
Good food.
Yeah,
and
hey, I'll
everything.
tell you, the food's really good. I was there that one night when Blackstone came back, man.
That's right.
I was highly impressed with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah, we had our work party there, our Christmas party there in the big part there. It was really nice.
I bet he had a bunch of companies do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great room.
Yeah.
and it got to it, and the food is
On point.
He's got a lot of.
Yeah.
He's got Caden. God, what's his name? Caden. Williams. Anyway, coming March 1st there, man. He's like pretty big country singer.
Okay.
Whiskey, Women, and Whitley, I think's the song he
Okay.
sings.
Yep. He's had some good entertainment. He's doing it right.
I was like, damn, this guy's going to be doing stadiums here before too
is
long.
he getting pretty good crowds in there on
I think so.
Friday nights?
I
and
have.
stuff?
Oh yeah, on Friday nights we've been getting some
Yeah.
good crowds. I'm usually just there on Friday nights. I don't.
Okay, okay.
That
it's about
regular
the only
spot's
day I can
nice.
commit to going out.
Yeah.
But
Having a regular spot like that's nice.
it is. You can build.
You know what's
with it.
happening.
Yeah.
And
We got our
you've always
regulars
had
that
one.
come in, and
you had one at the bar. You had one at Stockroom.
Yeah.
You had one of these old Scotties. Or
Yeah.
Goal Line.
Goal
You had
Line.
one there too.
Yep, we did it out on the patio there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you've been at that DJ business about 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got into it right before Soccer Room there.
Yep.
Like right around that time frame. So that was probably like 2015 or so, wasn't it, or something? Maybe I can't remember.
No, it was a little later.
Was it later than that?
2018 is when it came in there.
Yeah, right before COVID and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So
You were part of the Stallions ride through COVID.
Yeah. I'm a
Enjoyed
stallion.
that. Yeah. Ride Stallions
I
ride.
had to cut back on my stallion participation.
Well, so did I. Yeah.
surprised nobody died.
Yeah, I know.
Boy, we went hard during that.
That- I was
man.
just
A lot
telling
of fun,
somebody.
though. You know,
Yeah,
it kept
yeah,
everybody engaged. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it did.
I was telling somebody about that just not too long ago. Just the
That was
chugging.
crazy.
Oh man.
Oh, I know who it was. Somebody asked me if I knew Chris Trent.
Yeah.
And I said, yes. I said,
He's
I know.
one hell of a chugger.
I said, did you not see him on those chubby guys? And he goes, I did. I said, man, that dude,
Machine.
he would sit there, he'd chug a daggone bucket
Yeah. And big old, you know.
Of craft beer.
of IPA.
Yeah, some Merc juice or something like, whoa, damn. That's going to hurt.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, I
hope he's no longer doing that.
I had a poor retirement from that one. I think the last video I put up, I did
Oh.
that. I chugged a whole glass of whiskey
A glass of whiskey.
and two huge beers.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was doing. What didn't show is after that, I got a lot of credit. Everybody said, "Wow, dude, hey, that was great."
Yeah.
5 minutes after I turned the camera off on that, I was asleep.
Oh, I guarantee it. I guarantee it. You're like, what in the hell did I do?
Yeah, I know. And you can't.
I just
you can't-
roofied myself.
And you can't put it back in the bottle, bud. Yeah.
No. Oh, I feel you, brother.
Yeah.
Damn.
Some of those guys were flat getting at it. We had guys in Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
We had
Texas.
That took
Florida.
off.
We had,
Utah.
remember Brian Sayre? He found that beer to beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Utah.
Utah, yeah. We had them all over the place. Man, that was fun. Remember that highlight reel we had?
Jeez. Yeah. Well, you know, there just wasn't a whole lot going on at that time,
man.
dude.
There
I'm
wasn't.
glad we had that kind of silliness going on.
Well, during that time too, for me, that's when I started getting into online racing, and then that's why I go. I just want to bring that up real quick before we get off here, but we do that online racing on, and all my buddies I race with, we go to NASCAR race every year. So, and they're from all over the country and shit. So we meet, like, first year we went to Bristol, second year we went to Charlotte, last year we went to Martinsville, this year we're going to Talladega. So that's something that,
Nice.
yeah, man, it's pretty cool.
How do you
Lot of
fit
good
in the
dudes.
NASCAR stuff at all?
Well, I haven't been racing as much like lately. I was really hammering it from time COVID hit till probably about a year ago, and then I kind of cut back on it. You know, just because I've been so busy with.
It's a game? It's
yeah.
It's a game.
It's like iRacing type stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
I didn't know you did that.
yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah,
I
it's a
didn't
lot
know
of fun.
that exists. Man, COVID, it's hard to believe it was 5 years ago. In a
Dude,
month.
up to that point, man, I hadn't played a video game in 15 years. Dude,
Yeah.
before COVID hit. And then I'm looking online. I'm seeing these guys. All they had to do is go buy a wheel and pedals and stuff, and then play this shit. I'm like, damn, that's
They had
fun.
some of
They
those
didn't have
dudes
nothing
have
else to
some
do.
pretty elaborate setups.
Oh,
They're like
yeah.
in a little car cage
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
dude. There's
man.
some high dollar ones for sure.
Yeah.
I just got the the $500 wheel.
Yeah.
and and that's all you really need, honestly. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty fun.
I bet
It's
it
competitive.
is.
Yeah. We bust each other's balls and shit, man. It's a lot of fun.
5 years ago in a month. It'll be 5 years since COVID.
That's unbelievable.
Since the start, since the
Blink of an eye.
since
almost.
the weekend of the blackout weekend or whatever they called it. I can remember we had like this huge event, and I'd ordered like so much beer to cover the event,
Yeah.
and it got canceled. And I forget what that event. Oh, it was dueling pianos
Oh,
again.
You were doing it again.
I was going to do it again.
that's
And-
so much fun.
and
That
doing
was.
pianos.
We were looking forward to that, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, just boom, nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing.
Yeah,
Remember,
yeah.
people were scared to leave the house. Gibson was even asking me the other day. He said, "Remember the teddy bears that everybody would tie on the mailboxes and the posts
Yeah.
so that you could drive around and look at the teddy bears?"
Oh, yeah.
You'd go get gas, and they'd have wipes there so you could wipe
Oh,
the
yeah.
handles.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, dude.
Oh,
Now the bird flu's out.
Oh God. Jesus.
As long as we don't have to stay in the house.
Yeah. They're bringing no damn masks back in.
Yeah,
either.
that's right. That's
that's-
right. Yeah.
I didn't mind the shutdown though. I didn't.
Oh, hey, I could deal with no
I
shutdown.
especially about May.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
Yeah, need a little break.
Give
Yeah.
us about 6 weeks at the house.
You know,
Yeah.
from May to July.
Yeah.
You know, I'd
Dude,
take a
that
good
whole
shut.
time though, dude, I had to work the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I bet you did.
I had to
Yeah.
work the whole time.
I did. I just had nothing to do.
Yeah. But I did. I stopped cleaning cars from that point though until here recently. Like
Yeah.
I kind of quit during that time, and then I came back here. About this time last year is when we got the garage done.
You were probably fairly busy though.
Yeah, I said we did it.
You went
Our company
online.
got real creative.
Where were you at then?
O.E. Meyer,
Okay.
out of Sandusky, and we started selling.
You working from home at that point?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was traveling, but shit, you couldn't.
Nobody could back
Yeah,
then.
but we brought on a product specifically during this, and it was a
Air purifier.
purifier
Yeah.
that had
seen
proven
'em.
white paper
Yeah.
that could kill COVID.
Yep.
And that basically got us through. Now, I mean, I wasn't trying. I was home, dude. I mean,
Yeah. You'd work till about 2 or 3 every day.
if that long, just depending on how busy the day was. But,
Right.
it was just a different environment, man. I mean,
People learned how to function very quickly.
I'll tell you, I'm glad that my work did have something like that going on, because that I'd say it'd drive you nuts just sitting there,
Yeah. I think just not having any social interaction for a lot of people that they were stuck in the house with the same people all the time, not leaving,
yeah.
and that can wear on you a little bit, just not having any social interaction with people,
Yep.
Then you got all the kids doing school online and all that.
That's a headache. That's a headache right there in itself, dude.
They're
Yeah.
getting antsy.
Not knowing if it's what the hell's going on, really. It's like, I don't know how to do this. Send this shit in.
Parents, you go see your parents. You'd have to stay across the room.
Oh, yeah,
Not
nursing
get
home,
close,
nursing
all
home window visits, all that stuff. That's just awful, and that's really
heartbreaking,
hard
man. Yeah,
on patients, nursing home residents. They look forward to their visits with people, like, and not getting any at all.
At all.
You know, no touch at all.
And not being really out to see what it's really like, just knowing that
just scared to death because they're like, oh my God, they're not letting them even in here. They just, you know, and then they see what's on CNN and terrifying the shit out of everybody, you know. Got Don Lemon on there running his mouth. No shit. You know, like, God, I hate this guy. Jesus. Don fucking Lemon. Oh. You know? God.
Well, we made it through.
Yep, we lived through it.
Hey,
I never thought America would be back where it is today, though.
I knew we'd be back. Yeah.
I think it's still a little damaged, but it seems to be about full.
It's damaged. I think we're going to
It
recover.
took a while. A lot of people, I think, took it a little too close to the heart, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, hey, look, man, everybody's all right. We're all right now. And it took a year or two of getting back into the cycle.
Back. Well, I think it made a lot of people, honestly, just realize they liked being at home.
Right. Right.
You
Well,
know.
and dude, I'll tell you what.
There's the damage,
It
I guess.
changed.
Yeah.
It changed the way companies and businesses work now. In my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's
And
part of the damage.
it might have made you look at the company you work for too differently during that time frame.
absolutely.
You know, because of how they handled certain things
Yeah.
and you know, making you get a vaccine or whatever the situation may be if you didn't want to get one or whatever.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing I think is what companies saw, like one positive benefit, I think, is some of these places saw, all right, wait a minute, our workforce is now all at home. They're working from home. We're still getting stuff done.
Yeah, my brother's still working from home.
And I'm not paying for overhead and toilet paper and coffee and all that stuff.
Paper towels.
Yeah. And I think a lot of companies are like, well, hell, maybe
Heater.
we just,
You know, the heaters underneath your desk just skyrocketing the electric bills.
Yeah. I mean, I think they thought, well, hell, this thing, maybe we just let them
Yeah,
work
we can
from
just
home.
turn the lights off here and just let them work from home, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. They're not building buildings anymore for that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of them damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, you know, you about have to have a place to bring everyone.
Every now and then.
And something has to happen, and you need that collective effort. Now that I'm kind of back, whenever I had this, it was 100% I could have done it from home.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I kind of understand a reason to have a place to go, I guess, to an extent, because there's other people there besides me.
Oh, yeah.
But could it still be done? Pretty much.
Yeah. If you needed to.
Well, I think you see a lot of places. I think ours does this too. Like they've kind of gone to like a flex or a hybrid schedule.
hybrid, yeah.
Everybody maybe works from home one day or something.
One or 2 days a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. That's I get actually. I did learn how to actually do work at home.
Oh yeah.
Now I did notice, like,
I'd have trouble with that.
well, are they home, or is your family home
What do you mean?
during the day?
Well, the kids are no.
No. Let me tell you something. If they were out,
That's tough, dude. When it's
Yeah.
when
I don't think
when my
Yeah, it'd be
kids are
home,
home, like in the summer when their school's out, dude, that's, I mean, and nothing against them. They don't do anything wrong, but
Yeah,
it just, dude,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Can't
just,
focus
it's
on
hard.
nothing.
yeah, unless you have your own office
Yes.
inside your
dedicated.
house.
yeah, lock the door.
I
And it's
typically-
got to be far away
Yeah.
too, because like they're not trying to be loud,
yeah,
Right.
but they are.
Yeah.
And if you're on a call,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like,
yeah,
or your dog goes
Sorry about
ape
that.
shit. you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Those are all factors.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. Well, hey, Jordan, you gonna come back?
Absolutely.
All right,
boys.
Thanks for
brother.
coming
Hey,
on,
it's been
brother.
fun,
I
man.
really enjoyed
Jordan
it.
Lackey,
Absolutely.
Lackey's Auto Detailing, Lackey's DJ. Sir, what is the DJ service?
Just Jordan Lackey Entertainment, baby.
Just go to Facebook, find Jordan if you need your stuff DJ'd,
Yep.
waxed, washed. The man does it all.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
All right, Chubbies. See you.
Take care. See you.